John F. Kennedy is the youngest president ever elected in the United States. Now, he's not the youngest president that we ever had, because if you guys remember, Teddy Roosevelt became president at 42 years old, but he was not elected. He took office because McKinley had died. Kennedy was 43 years old when he was elected to the presidency of the United States, and America was kind of infatuated with JFK. He was handsome, he was charismatic, he had a beautiful wife, he had cute kids. America was in love with this guy. But it wasn't smooth sailing at the beginning of Kennedy's presidency. Just a few months into his presidency, in April of 1961, the Bay of Pigs happens. And it is a catastrophic mistake for JFK. The guy who was once thought to be energetic and youthful and full of good ideas now gets considered to be reckless. The guy who oversaw a plan that almost got us into war with Cuba and potentially the Soviet Union. So 1961 into 1962 is not a great time for JFK. He turns it around, and he turns it around in October of 1962. You learned about this event. This is called the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it is, without a shadow of a doubt, the closest we have ever been to nuclear war with the Soviet Union. During this event, Kennedy toed the line. He had his doves, the people who wanted peace and diplomacy, and he had his hawks, the people who wanted to go to war. And he was able to negotiate, he was able to compromise, and he was able to talk down the Soviet Union. And though we got to the brink of nuclear war, we didn't jump over the line, and the world after the Cuban Missile Crisis is a more peaceful world than before and during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and our relationship with the Soviet Union actually improves. After October of 1962 and the Cuban Missile Crisis, this is kind of like the delayed honeymoon period for JFK. People are in love with the guy. He can do no wrong. They can't get enough of him on television. They want to see him. They want to see his cute kids. They want to see his beautiful wife. They think everything he does turns to gold. The media covers this guy in glowing terms. And all of that comes to a dramatic end in November of 1963. Kennedy was in Dallas, and he was on an open-top car, driving slowly, kind of like a parade, in Daley's Plaza in Dallas. And that is when he is shot in the head, and he is killed. If you've seen the event, horrific. Kennedy's driving, doing the whole parade wave, shot in the head, and his head just kind of blows up, and it goes all over his wife, Jackie. Awful stuff. So who killed JFK? Well, an hour later, Lee Harvey Oswald is arrested. And when they attempt to arrest this guy, he shoots the cop and he kills the cop. So the question is, why would this guy assassinate the most powerful and popular president in America? Well, we'll never know the answer. Because 2 days later, on November 24th, they're transporting Oswald from the courthouse to the police station. The news cameras are there. Everybody is watching this on television. And if you watch the newscast, a guy walks right in front of the television camera, sticks his gun right in the guts of Lee Harvey Oswald, shoots him in the stomach, and kills him. The guy who killed Oswald is a guy by the name of Jack Ruby, who was a nightclub or a bar owner in Dallas. And because of this dramatic end in this series of events, a lot of conspiracy theories have been drawn up about the death and assassination of JFK. Some people say that this isn't possible, that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. How could this nobody, this isolated man in Oswald, kill the most powerful and popular president in American history? So some people say there has to be a bigger story. There's no way he acted alone. He had help from the mafia, or he had help from the CIA, or the FBI, or the Soviet Union, or Cuba. And Cuba would have a very good reason to assassinate our president, because our CIA attempted to kill the leader of Cuba, Fidel Castro, a few hundred times. In fact, a documentary came out a few years ago and they called it 638 Ways to Kill Fidel Castro, because they estimated that we attempted to kill Castro 638 times and were never successful. But as the years have progressed, I think the answer maybe is just as simple as we think it is. And that's that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and killed JFK. And sometimes it's hard for us to wrap our mind around that. How could this socially isolated, awkward nobody in our country kill the most powerful, popular president in our country? Well, the short answer is with a gun. So I noticed when you guys rank the presidents that JFK is ranked in a lot of your top 4. Why? Well, it's that 1-year honeymoon period from the Cuban Missile Crisis to his tragic death on November 22nd of 1963.